Okay. Now you're just going to do this a few times. Now I find that 5 to 6 layers usually gets the job done. So once you have the tape on your coin, what you do now is take a pair of scissors and then you trim off the excess tape. Very simple. Now whether or not you want to make this all, look all nice and neat doesn't quite matter because no one's ever going to see this coin anyways. And ta-da, that is it. As you can see, layers of tape, and in between is a magnet to magnetize your coin. And this side is the side where I would place the paper on, and then the impression would show up if I were to sketch over it. And then now, if I were to just drop the coin, look, there's no click sound. And that is how you prepare a coin. And all you have to do now is do that with your other 2 coins, and then you're ready to go. So at this point, you have your coins prepared. So as you can see, they have strapping tape behind them with magnets in between. So once you have your coins prepared, now when you're performing and you are ready to reveal the coin or get the coin underneath the piece of paper, how do you do so? How do you retrieve it? Well, we have a pocket index system just like that. Now yours can vary, it doesn't need to follow mine, but the general idea is that you're placing the coins in the slots so that they're easy to retrieve in your pocket. So in this case, just like that is how I would prepare my coins. So I made some slits. So this would be going into my pocket. So let's say that I know what coin they have chosen, I've turned my head away and I want to retrieve it. So in this case, I would be, pulling out the quarter or the loonie or the toonie. Now let's learn how to make your own. Of course, again, the size of your coins may vary, so you may do things a little bit differently. Now, ideally, I would just have it all in one line. However, my coins are slightly big and I'm using playing cards, so this works fine for me as well. Now, let's learn how to do that. Let's say that you are taking 2 playing cards, okay? You can use, as long as you're using a stiffer stock, it doesn't matter. It could be business cards, it could be something else, but I'm using 2 double blank playing cards. Now, let's say you're following along and you are using playing cards as well. All you'll be doing is taking one of the cards. Now I'm gonna place the coins aside, and you're going to be folding it lengthwise. So hot dog way, just like that. Fold it in half, directly in half, just like so. Now what you'll be doing is, now for me, I knew that I was gonna place my quarter over here because this is a nice little fit, just like that. So how I generally like it is quarter, loonie, and then toonie, okay? So knowing that, now you'll also be needing a stapler and also a pair of scissors, okay? Now, since I know that the quarter will be going in about this amount, and this is a nice fit, I will be stapling just along the edge right over here, okay? So I can do that first. Take a stapler, just staple the edge, just like that. So that's done, and now I know that the quarter fits. Very nice and snug, but still easy to retrieve and pull out. Okay, now what you'll be doing is you can either leave the quarter in here or not, but I know that the loonie will be following after, just over here. Now, how do I create that slit? All I'm doing is taking that pair of scissors and I'm creating a slit for that loonie. So approximately this. So I'll be cutting the folded side just right over here, just like that. Okay, as you can see, it's the folded side that I am cutting. Okay, and I will be seeing if this loonie fits into that slit. And if not, I can just push it in a little bit and it'll rip a little bit of the card, or you can use your pair of scissors and you can just trim it off a little bit more just so it's wide enough to fit that loonie. Or whichever coin that you decide to use. So in this case, I'm just putting it in like that. And there we go, that's a nice little fit and it's pretty easy to retrieve as well. But enough so that it's tight enough so that it will stay in place as well in my pocket. So that is the loonie. Now you'll need to do it for the second coin as well, or the third coin, your last coin that is. Now this is my bigger coin, so I'm just gonna cut a bigger slit, one that I know will fit that toonie. So in this case, if I were to kind of open that up, put the toonie in, nice enough to fit in and it's fairly secure, but easy to remove as well. Now once you have this done, you can just put all your coins in just so you can see that everything fits, everything is nice and snug. So I have that. And just like that, that is coming together very nicely. Now, when you're retrieving the coins, it might be a little bit hard to slide the other coins. So that is why you want to create a backing. So you would take your other playing card and you can just do this, okay? Now this is enough for me to slide out the other coins. Now I don't need to do that for my quarter. I can kind of do that with my index finger and my thumb, but the other ones are a little bit tougher. That's why I have a backing. Now, just so mine looks a little bit nice and neat, I like to cut this side, trim this side so the sizing is nice when I do put it behind this little pocket index system. So just like so. Now at this point, what I can do is I take my stapler and I staple the other side right over here, just like that. And this side, I can staple right over here as well, just to secure the other side as well. And since no one is seeing this, it doesn't need to be super pretty, but this is pretty much it. And now you have a backing. So when this is all in your pocket, now let's say you're retrieving the quarter, okay? You would just pinch onto it and then you have it in your hand. You just let go of this. This is in your pocket and then you have it in finger palm. Now, for example, if you were doing it with the loonie. So as you turn your head away, you see that they reach for the middle coin, which is the loonie in my case. All I'd have to do in my pocket, which my hand would be in my pocket already, and looking away, I can just push this off with the backing. It will make it a lot easier. Now, if it's not, then what you can do is also trim, the sides so that it's easier for you to slide out. But in this case, it's fairly easy. Once it's in my pocket, all I have to do is slide it out just like that. And then it's in finger palm and I just let go of this. Now, same thing for the toonie. All I'd have to do is just, reach lower, push out for the toonie, okay? And then it will just be in finger palm as I let go of the card index system, okay? So that is how you retrieve your coins. That is how you make your, pocket index system so that you can easily retrieve any of the 3 coins you wish. All right, guys, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you want to perform trace of thought, but you're in a coffee shop environment or maybe a lounge, as long as there's a table right over here, then, you're ready to perform the effect. This is one way for you to do it. This is best for people that, a few people just in front of you across the table, because it does require some lapping, so you don't want anyone sitting next to you or behind you for this. However, the advantage of this is that it feels like all you are using is a sheet of paper and a pencil, and that's all it is to make the magic happen. Another thing is that, after the impression is made from the sketch, you can show that, underneath there's nothing, because you lap the coin and then you show that behind the piece of paper there's nothing, and then you just immediately hand this out for them to keep. And just remember this impossible moment. So let's get into how to perform it. Now, it's fairly simple to do. All you need is a normal pencil, okay? A long pencil over here, doesn't really matter what kind of pencil, and a sheet of paper. Now, this can be loose leaf paper, the one with the lines, or it can just be a multi-purpose paper, printer paper, it doesn't really matter, okay? And of course, your pocket index system with the 3 coins that you prepared earlier, okay? Now again, for this handling, the magnets will not come into play, but because there's strapping tape over here, if you were to perform on hard surfaces, it's not going to make a clicking sound. Now in this case, there's a fabric on top of this table, so you're not going to be able to hear it, but let's place all of this in its appropriate position. So this would be sitting in my pocket, my left pocket in this case. Now, of course, the coins and everything would be inside your pocket, and you'd be going in to fetch the coins while you're performing. In this case, you're just off to the side, and you have your sheet of paper and a pencil. You just bring this out of your backpack or wherever when you're ready to perform this, maybe in a coffee shop environment again with some friends. Now, let's say you're ready to perform the effect. So you already know the coin selection phase, how to do that. Because of the portable handling, I taught you how to do that. So let's say that they pick the coin, okay? Now, in that process, when you are, looking away and you're doing the peek in your peripheral vision to see which coin they're grabbing. So let's say that they're picking the loonie in this case. Now, my hand would already be in my pocket. So my hand would just be casually in my pocket as I look away. Now this is natural even if you're sitting down. Just say, all right, so I have the quarter, the loonie, and the toonie. Now I want you to go ahead and reach out and just grab one. I'm gonna look away, all right? I'm not going to, see what coin you're picking. So my thumb would already be on the pocket index system, ready to, retrieve whichever coin they pick. And then I am peeking to see peripherally which coin they're reaching out to grab. And let's say it's the loonie in this case. So my finger would just, run to the loonie, and then all I'd be doing is pushing it out. Okay, I'd let go of the rest of the coins, and then I would leave this in a finger palm, okay? So it would just be resting between my middle finger and my ring finger, just on the flesh, just like that, okay? So that's in my pocket. This is all happening in my pocket. And then I retrieve it, and then I look back and say, okay, so hold it very tightly, shuffle all the other coins, doesn't really matter, whatever your presentation calls for. But once they have that coin, that imaginary coin in their hand, you already have the actual coin in your hand. How funny is that? And this is already in your pocket. as you are continuing your presentation from this point, you would be carrying on and say, as I mentioned in the portable handling, no one else knows what this coin is that you're holding. It is invisible. No one else in the world knows what this coin is. And that is a lovely thing for you to emphasize. Remember to emphasize that because it's a key thing for this routine. So at this point, you can either start a mind reading bit, or you can just load the coin underneath the piece of paper. And how you would do that is you're ready to place the coin, or you're ready to have them place the imaginary coin on the piece of paper, but you would have this in finger palm. Okay. Now there are two ways for you to feed the coin underneath the piece of paper. Number one, you can reach over with your right hand, place the coin, basically place the piece of paper on top of the coin with the hand open like that, and you would ask them just place the coin, imaginary coin, on top of the piece of paper. Okay. So in real time, what can happen is you're just doing that, and all you're doing really is starting from palm facing down to palm facing up, as the paper is used as cover, and your hand comes from underneath so that you can place it on top. Now, again, let me show you that actually in real time. So, just like that, go ahead and place your imaginary coin right on top, and at this point, okay, this is the position. What you do is with your right hand, after they place the imaginary coin on the piece of paper, you would grab the coin along with the piece of paper and just place it down on the table, just like that. Okay, and right now the position is the coin is underneath the piece of paper, just like so. Okay, and it is all in your choreography. You want to make it seem very natural. You don't want to seem like you're breaking it all in little movements where your hand comes in, paper comes over, and then your hand does that. You don't want to make it seem very mechanical. It's all in your gestures. All you're doing is really placing the piece of paper on top of your hand, and then having them place the imaginary coin on top, and then you just place it on the table. And even if it drops a little bit, don't worry, because you taped it, soften the landing. Okay. Now be careful that you're not doing it too quick as well. Like just now, when I'm being too, careless, the coin can flip over. So just go slow, okay, as long as you make it seem natural, okay? Now, one thing to watch out for in terms of the environment that you're performing in, if you have the opportunity, try and test out and see if the table will reveal the coin. Now, this is very hard for me to describe verbally, but if you take a look over here, if I'm performing on a black surface, that's why it's good to use printer paper, so it's harder to see. But right now, you might be able to see the coin if I were to move this around. You can see the coin past the sheet of paper. Now, you shouldn't worry too much about that because in a general sense, you'll be performing in environments where there's ambient light. Whether it's outdoors or inside in a lounge, coffee shop, you're not going to find this happening. Now, because we're shooting in a studio right now, there is harsher lights that make it easier for you to see through the paper, so don't worry about that if you do see the coin right now. So that is the first way to get the coin underneath the piece of paper, and at this point, the imaginary coin would be already placed on top of the piece of paper. Now, second way, okay? So you're in the position where this is in finger palm, okay? In this position. This can be, resting on your lap or just even on a table as long as you're natural. You have the piece of paper, and what you can do is actually have this on a higher finger palm. So you basically, before you bring this up on the table, you'd push it so that it's near the fingertips, okay? So it's easy for you to place the piece of paper onto your other hand, and then you grip it, just like so. And you could be grabbing the pencil to reposition it, and in that action, you are placing the coin down. So right now, without the sheet of paper over here, I'd be placing the coin down. And then I'd be moving the piece of paper so that the coin would be near the center of the piece of paper. So in this case, as you can see, it's right in the middle. Okay, let me show you that one more time. Now, this is slightly more technical than the other one. However, if you find that you want to be a little bit more clean as opposed to lifting up a big sheet of paper, if you find that a little strange for your presentation,